Darvin Ham, Irvin Johnson, and the big dog, Glenn Robinson. And for Indiana, Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller, Jalen Rose, Rick Smits, and Dale Davis. And the fourth member of our crew, Peter Lachey.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Well, it looks like Ray Allen is becoming a bit of an Iron Man. He has yet to miss a game because of injury in the last 4 seasons, but it almost came to an end, as you mentioned, Kevin, a week ago when he sprained his left knee against Orlando. He was able to finish out the regular season. Well, I talked to Ray, asked him how his knee was feeling. He said, Cheryl, physically, the knee feels great. He said that his only concern coming into tonight's game is mentally having that confidence, whether it's uphilling at the defensive end, driving hard to the basket, or receiving that hard foul. He wants to have that confidence that that knee is stable.
There's play disallowed right now. We're ready here. Danny, when you would take your Phoenix Suns team on the road in a playoff opening game, in this kind of environment, what would you tell your players?
You just got to kind of hold forward for the first part of the first quarter. You know, the crowd's going crazy. Everybody's jacked up. Everybody's a little bit nervous. You just got to hold even for the first half of the first quarter.
And, John, that'll be key for Milwaukee. They can't let this thing get away early in the game.
Well, they've got to get an early start, as Sam Cassell said in the opening, because if they let Indiana jump on them, this house is going to go crazy in here.
Great officiating crew tonight here in Indianapolis, led by Dick Bavetta, Jack Neese, and Don Baden. Great to have you with us tonight. This is the 8th and final playoff game in the first weekend of the NBA postseason. Great to have you with us from sold-out Conseco Fieldhouse. We took a tour of it, in fact, earlier today. It's like a museum to basketball in the state of Indiana and the NBA. Milwaukee has won a game in this building. Not many teams did. Indiana comes in with the best home record in the East and tied with the Los Angeles Lakers for the best home record in the NBA this season at 36-5. As you take a look at Larry Bird, the 43-year-old head coach of the Indiana Pacers. They jump it again, and it's claimed by Milwaukee, and here we go. Sam Cassell, who George Karl calls his MVP, off to Darvin Ham, whose defense has made a difference for the Bucks. Miller is on Ray Allen. And inside, Allen tries and finds two.
Well, that's one of the keys right now. Ray Allen looked pretty good on that bad knee right there, but one thing he can do, he shoots scores in a lot of different ways, and his quickness, he has an advantage.
Well, it's particularly significant the fact that he chose to drive, because that showed confidence in that leg.
Dale Davis, heart and soul of this team, tapped up and in by Smits, wiping away.
Right here we see Ray Allen. He catches the ball out on the wing. Just decides to go right by Reggie.
Smits picks up the foul. That's his first of the game. Ray Allen, who played at UConn.
You know what is interesting? They've got Ray Allen playing the point here, too, and put Sam Cassell in the corner.
And here's Cassell, picked up by Jackson, out to Glenn Robinson with his first shot. Rebound and hailed by Dale Davis.
Well, and this is, Milwaukee's got to be very cautious about the shot selection. They've got to get out quick and try to get easy baskets, but they cannot take bad shots in this game.
Reggie Miller into Rick Smits at 33 years of age. He's thinking about retirement.
Well, he's got a lot left in those feet. If he can keep his feet healthy, and it seems to be that last few games he's playing a lot better, but that's the toughest matchup, and they usually try to get him going early.
Well, and they can't, Milwaukee can't let him dominate inside, because that's going to be one of the most significant things in here, is that if he gets the ball in a low post position and dominates, they're going to have some problems.
Ray Allen had that one block. He retrieves it. Shot clock went off, and a 24-second shot clock violation.
Right here, they get a screen across. Dale Davis gets a screen across on Smits right there. They get the switch on Big Dog. That's no way he can handle Smits down low.
Tied at 2 as Jackson goes to Smits, and he left that shot just inside the circle. The rebound is out of bounds and off Milwaukee, and Indiana will get it back with about 2 minutes gone.
Well, and not only would he love that shot, if I were the Bucks, I would love for him to take it, particularly after the first 2 possessions he went inside and dominated them. I would love for him to I'd rather see him taking these outside shots than to post up inside.
Smits with the miss. The hustling Davis gets it, but stepped out of bounds, and Milwaukee will take it the other way.
Well, right there, 2 possessions in a row. Dale Davis is all over the offensive glass. Indiana, 28th in the league in offensive rebounding. That's a good sign.
Clock didn't start, so they'll do it again as you take a look at Dick Bavetta.
I always get a kick out of the officials. They can't see the foul that happened right in front, but they can see the score, the shot clocks up there. They're looking at the wrong things. Look at the game. Forget the shot clock.
Said just like a player. I mean, just like a player.
Coach. And now they got it. Sam Cassell, who played in a couple of championships with the Houston Rockets in the mid-90s, brings that experience to Milwaukee. Rose is on him. Nice feed to Allen inside. And out of bounds off Davis in Indiana with 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, what was good is that Milwaukee tried to run their offense that time rather than Sam coming down to go one-on-one, but that might have been an ill-advised shot by Ray that time.
Both teams have started 1 of 4. 4 on the shot clock, and a rebound, a second one, hauled in by Dale Davis.
Well, when they play one-on-one, they're having a tough time getting a shot. Reggie Miller's made 2 great defensive plays, and Jalen Rose did a great defensive play. They got to have more movement offensively than just isolations.
John, I think you said it in the open. Rose now becomes the fixture and the focal point of this team in the postseason, where he has never tried before. Ray Allen flies into our booth and saves the ball for the Bucks. And on the floor across the way, Glenn Robinson, and they call it jump ball. Indiana very alert on the play.
Well, speaking of alert, I think that you were just as alert as they were moving out of the way over here.
Our statistician, Pat McGrath, got a little helping of Ray Allen. Here he is right here, Pat McGrath. He took a charge.
Denny, I didn't realize Kevin could move that quickly. Except for when he was eating.
Now it starts, right? Here comes Jackson. Justin Rose feeds to Miller. And a foul inside. Ray Allen was shoving. And the star of the motion picture, He Got Game, picks up his first of the night.
Well, Reggie had an advantage during the head-to-head meetings right here, and this is one of the reasons right here. Getting to the free throw line. Reggie got to almost 7 times a game in the head-to-head competition, and Ray Allen had 13 fouls to Reggie's 5 when they met in the regular season. So that's one thing Ray Allen's got to be careful of, is getting out of foul trouble, those silly fouls on Reggie.
Well, and Danny, that's an indication of experience too, because down at this end, Reggie went to the basket. He didn't have the shot, but he came up with the foul. At the other end, Ray went to the basket and shot a fadeaway shot and came away with nothing. And that's the sign of experience in an experienced player.
Miller gets 2, and Indiana leads by 2. Allen feeds to Sam Cassell, who grew up in Baltimore, and fires over Jackson.
Well, and they've got to guard him. You know, the only thing about that shot, it's very much what Danny said. If they're going to go one-on-one in here, and he pulls up and takes those shots, I'm certain that Indiana's not going to be too displeased with it.
Boy, Jalen Rose wide open on that one.
Yeah, Jalen did a good job of coming off the down screen right there, and they want him to shoot. He can score in so many ways. You can't just run at him, because he's great at finishing with either hand as well.
Bucks have started the game 2 of 6. Here's Bill Robinson with his second shot. A 3rd rebound brought down by Dale Davis.
But I think they're shooting too quickly in their half-court offense against this team. I just don't think they have enough size to do that.
Nice defense by Robinson, who broke up the pass to Davis, and out of bounds off Indiana.
Right here we see Sal. He goes down in the post. They're giving Mark Jackson a little bit of his own medicine. Steps off the block right there. Has a quickness advantage, so he can get a shot anytime. Gets away with a little push.
Allen again working on Reggie Miller. And Allen with the miss. Rebound by Jackson. Here comes Reg at the other end. Deftly moves inside for 2. Reggie Miller at 34 years of age.
And that was a 1-on-3 fast break. Reggie was the only Indiana player down. They had 3 defenders from Milwaukee guarding him. That's not a good sign at all.
Robinson shoving his way into Rose, and over the outstretched arm of Smits. It's loose. The Pacers have it. They got a 2-on-1 Miller. A transition 3. Rebound by Johnson, and George Karl told us that is his biggest fear with Indiana.
Well, Larry Bird might not be happy about that either because they had a 2-on-1 fast break.
And then Allen misses a long-range shot. Out of bounds it goes. No foul called. Indiana will take it. There's 7.5 to play here in the first half. Turnovers even at 2. Rebounding 1 for the Bucks and 5 for Indiana.
Well, and I just think Milwaukee's got to be careful. They like early offense, but you've got to be very careful coming down in transition, and particularly on somebody else's court. Poor shot.
Rose will get the 2 on the goaltend by 6'11" Irvin Johnson. Kid didn't even play high school basketball, but the defensive definition of Milwaukee.
Oh, right in front of the rim. Not a very bright play right there by Irvin.
But at least he adds a presence inside.
Well, I think so, too. You know, especially if you think it's going to go in. You never know if that is right. But the same token, every player remembers egotistically whether somebody blocked his shot, whether it was goaltending or not.
Robinson with the miss. Rose with the drive. Rebound by the native Hoosier, Glenn Robinson. Milwaukee has started 2 of 11. Cassell by himself, and Rose picks it up. Miller again. Slashing by Allen, and a whistle, and a foul, number 2, called on Ray Allen. And that is not good news.
That's a great play by Reggie there again. You know, he pulled up for the 3 in transition the time before. This time he sees the guys honoring that 3-point shot. That makes you a lot quicker when you have that kind of range.
The Indiana Pacers.
Strength for me, backing me down, but I just got to battle him. But I also going to make him, you know, defend me. So I think George Karl has given me the freedom to do basically anything I want on the basketball court. So I got to use my aggressiveness to produce points and assists for my team to be successful.
I'll tell you, one of the things about both these guys, Danny Ainge, is they can post up well. Maybe the best post-up players on both their teams. Yeah,
they're very good post-up players, good offensive players all around. Mark looks to score mostly when he's in the post, so Sam scores in a lot more variety of ways. As right here, he shoots a little step-back jumper out of the post. So it's a good matchup right there, but Sam's right. He's got to be aggressive and create, and he's got to get to the free throw line as well. Ray Allen is out of the game with 2 fouls. He began the contest 1 of 5. Tim Thomas has taken his place. Driving his Rose, turning his body with a great shot.
Well, that was a heck of a penetration. He realized the fact that Thomas is cold and the new in the game, so he gave him a ball fake and just walked straight to the basket on it.
Milwaukee has missed their last 5 shots. Darvin Ham is in the game with Cassell, and Tim Thomas, his first shot, and right down the middle, it's a 3. They call him the pulse of the Bucks. Not too cold, though, Coach. Cold to move his feet defensively, but his arms are working fine, and that's what we're talking about. Sam Cassell's got to create that. Good penetration by Sam. And Rose again jousting with Cassell down low. And he draws the foul out of Milwaukee's defense, and Cassell picks up the foul. That is the first on Sam with Jalen Rose, the leading scorer of Indiana, at the free throw line.
Well, Jalen seems to be posting a lot more in this game. The last time I saw him, he was taking a lot more outside shots. Now he's trying to go in and go over top of people.
He won 3 city championships in Detroit, became part of the Fab 5 at Michigan, a Final Four appearance. First-round pick by Denver, but Danny, he really began to develop once Larry Bird brought him here to Indiana. Well, and I think even though he can play some point guard and maybe play some in the future, I still think his best position is probably that small forward, defensively and offensively. He's done a good job, and I think he's a great finisher. But he loves to play the point. He does love to play the point. Everybody
loves to play the point.
John Thompson loved to play the point. Now that was something to see. Now that was something to see.
You have the ball. You're not dependent on anybody when you play the point.
Under 6 to play here in the first quarter. Ham setting a screen for Thomas, not once, but twice. And then the mismatch on Smits for Ham. Johnson doesn't score all that often, but draws a foul out of Smits, and they'll send Irvin Johnson to the free throw line.
Well, you know, one of the things I really loved, I had an opportunity to talk with Johnson earlier today, and I've never heard a kid say that I'm out on the court to serve other people, to help them get open, to do things. Usually, you know, people designate that you do those things, but he willfully said to me in practice today that his main offensive contribution was to get other guys open, to get rebounds if they drove and somebody doubled them, to make layups.
George Karl drafted him in Seattle, so he must like him.
Well, his attitude is great. He's a great defender, works hard on the board, rebounding, and offensively sacrifices himself.
And George got rid of him in Seattle.
That's what he started in Denver. And your point being?
He has no choice but to like him now. He's all he has at center.
Darvin Ham goes crashing out of bounds.
I tell you one thing about the Milwaukee team, Ham and Johnson do not take many shots. These perimeter guys have got to get them some layups to reward them sometimes. Sometimes I think they shoot the ball a little too quickly without getting them involved.
Scooping it up, Miller. Jalen Rose leads Indiana with 10. There's a 4-on-3. Cassell trying to finish and can't. Milwaukee 3 of 13 shooting.
Well, and that's an example of what I was talking about. I mean, you had the numbers that you needed. You might be better off giving one of those big guys a ball, letting him get a layup so that you can reward him for defending and rebounding, because they're not going to take many shots as it is anyway.
Inbound pass picked off. And Danny, I think you said the Bucks had to shoot to win.
They have to shoot. Right now, Glenn Robinson doesn't look comfortable offensively. Ray Allen's in foul trouble. Sam is the guy that's probably going to have to score more of the points for him, or at least create some offense.
Jackson flips it outside to Rose, who swerves around Thomas. Rebound is brought down by Irvin Johnson. Sal the other way and spots up on Rose with another miss, and the Bucks are shooting 21% from the floor.
No, that's not good. That's a good shot for Sam, though. They need to just make those shots. It's that simple. They have no chance if they can't score in transition on this Pacer team. And Sam right now, again, he's got the best matchup out there.
Ham just picked up his first foul.
Well, one thing, I looked over at George Karl's face when Sam took that shot. He looked like he had a big pain in his belly. I can tell you that. He wants him to shoot, but in the same token, I think he wants him to make some of them, too.
Rich Smits at 7'4", puts it in and gives Indiana their biggest lead.
But right now, the Pacers have 5 guys out there that can score, and the Bucks have 3.
Those numbers don't add up. Robinson missing again. Robinson 0 of 5. Out of bounds, off Milwaukee.
His shot just doesn't look right, Coach. The ball's coming off his hand funny. That ball was a little bit of a knuckleball. He doesn't have any confidence in that shot.
Well, sometimes it helps, Danny, when you move the ball and get other people touches, you get some touches before you take the shot. If I don't want to shoot, at least I want to touch the ball. And these guys are coming down and not letting anybody touch the ball. They're 3 perimeter people. They're 1, they're 2, and they're 3 guys take all of the shots. They're 4 and they're 5 men never touch the ball.
What a move by Mark Jackson. Reggie Miller has 4 points. Jackson getting his first 2 there, but he has 4 assists, and they've got this crowd in a frenzy.
Supposed to clamp down on defense in the playoffs. Points are expected to be harder to come by. But when you get 46, 17 more than your season average, how dominating can you be?
Well, I was just, taking high percentage shots. My teammates were looking for me, and my shots were falling. I'm sure next game double's going to come quicker, and that's when I'm going to be looking for my guys, Glenn, Robert, and Rick to step up.
The odds-on favorite for the MVP, a gigantic game today. In the regular season, Sacramento giving the Lakers some problems.
But they've given them some problems. But as we know, this is not the regular season.
And they've given them some problems in the first half. The second half, the Lakers usually come out on top. It's interesting right now. They got at the 2-guard position, Tim Thomas. Maybe we'll see them try to create some mismatches with Reggie down low.
Indiana has their biggest lead tonight of 11. Allen is on the bench with 2 early fouls. Here comes the big dog, who is 0 of 5. Thomas on Miller into Crozier, who's in the game for the first time. More Indiana defense. And Jackson goes streaking the other way. Inside to Davis.
Well, and you talk about early offense. Right now, Indiana's getting more early offense than Milwaukee's getting, because Milwaukee's taking the shots quickly, but they're not defending at the other end.
Well, and they got 5 guys that you have to defend in transition. Right now, the Bucks only have 3 guys you have to defend in transition.
Scott Williams in for the first time for Milwaukee. That was credited to Irvin Johnson, who has 4 points. That's about his season average. Jackson posting again, draws the double, flips it to Crozier, and a swing it to Jalen Rose. Rebound by Cassell. And Crozier got a hand on it. Miller goes diving out of bounds, walking the tightrope, and keeps his balance all the while.
Well, and just the opposite, Indiana is getting back and preventing Milwaukee from getting that early offense that we talked about at the top of the show. Milwaukee is not getting back and stopping them from getting early offense, and Indiana seems to be running even more than I've seen them run early in the year.
Milwaukee has taken out Robinson, and they brought in Vinny Del Negro. Robinson leaves 0 of 5. Thomas, Del Negro, Cassell, Scott Williams, and Irvin Johnson. Here comes Sam Cassell. Played at Florida State. Rebound by Davis, who has collected 4 rebounds so far.
But Sam is going against a set defense. You're going one-on-one without moving in the defensive players. You better make it or they're going to get the rebound.
Austin Crozier off the rim and over the backboard, not a play. Larry Bird, who won 3 titles as a player with the Boston Celtics. And Danny Ainge was a part of some of those in Boston.
And very fortunate to be part of those.
You were more than a decoy there, weren't you, Dave?
I played defense. I covered up for a lot of Larry's mistakes, but he made my offensive job a lot easier.
Scott Williams hits one jump.
Well, it's one of the first times that the 4 to 5 man have gotten a touch out of this crew. You got to at least give them some touches.
Jalen Rose in a thicket of Milwaukee defenders inside is on a scoring binge with 12 in the first quarter.
Jalen is a mismatch. Whoever's guarding him out there right now, he seems to be scoring inside, scoring outside, driving left, driving right. Milwaukee is doing a terrible job of matching up with Jalen Rose. And right now, Vinny Del Negro, I don't know who he's going to guard out there. Now that Travis Best is coming in at the point, I guess he's matched up with Reggie Miller.
I was talking to George Karl at practice, and I was asking him whether they were going to gimmick, trap, put pressure like I've seen some of his teams in the past, and particularly when he was at Seattle. And he told me he just didn't have the personnel to do it, and now I can understand that a little bit better.
George Karl, who played for Dean Smith at North Carolina, and a quick foul called on Travis Best, who just gets off the bench and picks up his first foul. Sam Perkins has come in for Indiana. He backs up Smits, but can shoot the 3 as well as anyone on this team. And with the quick foul and 1:49 to play here in the first quarter, Sam Cassell will be at the free throw line.
Very smart play by Sam right there. He saw Travis Best can't believe it, but Sam just tricked him into that foul, made him hold him.
Cassell, the 9th best free throw shooter in the NBA. He's seen a lot of places, traded 4 times. He's played with 5 teams in his 7 NBA seasons.
Well, and he's a great player, but he's got to get this Milwaukee team moving. He's got to get other people involved other than himself. He's got other people involved other than the 2 and the 3 men.
Rose against Thomas, out to Best. They swing it to Reggie, collides with Johnson. And a foul called on Irvin Johnson, who got sucked into a mismatch.
Ooh, that was great defense by Irvin Johnson. He did exactly what you're supposed to do. He rotated out. Coach, you were asking me, can he rotate out? Here he does a perfect job of getting out to Reggie, takes away middle, gets his feet in front of him. I thought that was a no call right there.
Well, and that's also one of the reasons why at the offensive end, he should be rewarded at least with a penetration and pitch so he can get a dunk or a layup periodically.
Milwaukee, not known for defense, as we heard Danny talk about in the open, has found some defense late in the season, which ushered them into the playoffs.
Right, and the key stat is the 43% field goal percentage. That's the real big one right there.
Reggie Miller has 6, the 2nd best free throw shooter in the NBA behind Utah's Jeff Hornacek. He won it going away at about 95%. Milwaukee shooting 25%. Thomas with a twirling move inside, and he drew the foul on the defending Jalen Rose. That's the first on Jalen.
Well, and that's the tough thing about Thomas, because he can play almost every position, 4 of the 5 positions on the floor because of his skill level. He can put the ball on the floor, he can shoot outside, he can penetrate, and he's not a bad passer. So if he has any form of a mismatch, he's very capable of posting.
And the New Jersey native, as we were being told by George Karl, said that he is truly the pulse of this team. He doesn't know where they'd be without Tim Thomas, who began with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, and George indicated today, I was interested in listening to him, that he even felt that Tim Thomas should be in consideration for the 6th man of the year.
Oh, come on, Coach. Every coach says that. Rodney Rogers.
Well, now, wait a minute. No bias there, right? You were the one who signed Rodney down in Phoenix.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Who was Rodney Rogers' coach? Every coach does say it indeed.
That's good. Approaching a minute to play here in the first quarter. Indiana shooting 50%. And a foul called on newly instated Vinny Del Negro out of North Carolina State with a problem now in the matchup he's facing now.
Well, look at Reggie. Watch how Reggie flops. He just goes up the screen. Vinny's just playing defense, and Reggie just starts acting, and he's one of the best actors in the league, and he gets rewarded for it.
Well, and that was the thing that I was talking about at the top of the show with experience, that everybody talks about the youth movements, but when you get in the playoffs, these older veteran players know how to come up with something. If they don't get a basket, they can fake a cut, they can fake a jump shot. Speaking of veterans, here comes another one.
You like this guy.
I love this guy.
Yeah, but this is the playoffs, and these officials are supposed to be veterans. They're not supposed to fall for that flopping.
Hey, you used to teach your Phoenix players how to flop.
Hey, because look what happens. You get free throws out of it.
28-16. Indiana on top. Their biggest lead, 13 points. Here's Scott Williams, who played with Michael Jordan in Chicago. And he comes off the bench with 4 points quickly.
Scott Williams has given him a big lift. A couple big buckets, and he's playing some great defense.
Well, Johnson and Ham might have given him a lift, too, if they'd ever thrown the ball in there and let him touch it.
Reggie Miller. Another rebound for Irvin Johnson. Milwaukee's bench has sparked the team with 9 points. Del Negro. Loose inside. Jousting is Williams. Out of bounds. It trickles. Reggie thought he was throwing to a teammate. And Scott Williams goes down hard. He's had a history of injury problems, namely dislocated shoulders.
And that guy gave us fits when I played with the Portland Trail Blazers. He was with the Chicago Bulls. High energy, knocked down the medium range jump shot. A terrific player if he could stay healthy.
Well, and that's where the injury problems come from. When you hustle, you will get hurt.
And he hustles. Shot clock at 10, big clock at 14. Difference of 4 seconds between the two. Screen by Perkins for Best. Rebound by the angular Tim Thomas. Here comes Cassell. Time with which to work. Best in his way. The fake, the shot, and a foul. High travel. Travel on Cassell. Turnover number 6 in the first quarter for Milwaukee.
Great defense by Travis Best right there. Staying down, moving his feet. One of the best on-ball defenders in basketball.
6 field goals for Milwaukee and 6 turnovers. Good if it goes for the top seed Indiana Pacers, led by Jalen Rose, now playing the leading role in the playoffs. His first experience with that, glistening first quarter of 12 points. Indiana had the best record in the East, and they lead at the end of one, 28-18 over 8th seed Milwaukee. No longer Miller, although he's still a big shot. It's Jalen Rose who's the guy.
Yeah, Jalen had a great first quarter. Again, he scores in such a variety of ways.
Also in the lineup,
Indiana out there with Best, Miller, Crozier, 36-year-old Chris Mullen, and Sam Perkins. Ray Allen back on the floor for Milwaukee, albeit with the 2 personal fouls, which kept him out of 6 minutes of that first quarter. Here comes Perkins. Down goes Williams, and 2 North Carolina players going head-to-head. And a miss right there by Sleepy Sam.
Well, let's see if Milwaukee gets a little more ball movement. Ray Alston's more of a penetrating guard. He's not a scoring guard as much as Sam Cassell. And see if they get some more movement. So far, the last 6 possessions, they haven't made more than 1 pass.
Ray Alston to Robinson, who is 0 of 6. Rebound by Crozier.
Last 7 possessions. That was 1 pass also. A lot of dribbling in 1 pass.
Travis Best.
Big Dog just doesn't look good. He's short on that shot. He shot through a knuckleball up there.
Crozier across the lane. Miller had a hand on it and saved by Scott Williams.
I think what's going to be interesting is to watch Ray Allen now, because a person with an injury who has to sit on the bench early, you have a tendency to get cold, and that gets sore. Because I thought Ray's energy level looked great just before he went out, and he wasn't afraid to give up his body, diving into the scores table and on the floor.
Good point. Milwaukee turns it over for a 7th time. 3-on-2, Miller to Best, flipping it out to Mullen. Working around Robinson, looking for Crozier, knocked out of bounds off Milwaukee with 15 seconds to shoot. Down to 38% shooting now for the Pacers, who are right around 50% most of the first quarter. Milwaukee has struggled since the get-go. 26% from the floor.
That ball looked like it just slipped right out of Reggie's hands right there.
Well, that's what the older players do well, too. They referee, they help and assist with the officiating.
Reggie Miller with the miss. Rebound by Glenn Robinson, who grew up in Gary, Indiana. And an admitted Pacer fan while growing up. Here's Allen, picked up by Miller. Robinson the drive, plowing inside, finally finding two.
Well, and that was good. At least he got a layup out of it, but that's also a one-pass possession. Very few people are getting involved with touches in their offense, and I don't think they can get away with doing that in this arena.
Best around the Perkins screen. Crozier to Best, flies in. Crozier with the tap try, and the third-year player from Providence, Austin Crozier, fighting and persevering inside, and finally gets fouled by Scott Williams. That's the first on him.
Well, George Carter looks like he's on the floor right now. Is he helping with the assists or what? Even before the timeouts, he was standing down here at half court, almost out on the floor.
He had a long career in the ABA, but his days are over. And he hopes his Bucks have their end of days here. Team shooting shoulder and a bad rotator cuff. Anything else you're aware of that is ailing him?
Well, we certainly know his tongue is healthy because he was fairly upset at the end of the game.
Billy King, wasn't he, his GM?
Yeah, there's nothing to it. They should keep him upset as long as he can score 40. I would not try to mend that relationship at all.
I was going to say, Billy King's MVP of that win.
That's exactly right.
Here, 9.5 to play in the first half. Travis Best puts it up and down. That is the first field goal in over 4 minutes for Indiana. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals the last 2 seasons. Milwaukee, to get to this playoff, had to have an incredible push the last half of the year. That's a charge on Tim Thomas out of Villanova. And down is Perkins, who has a bad knee to begin with, the knee that he hurt a couple weeks ago on a Monday night in Madison Square Garden. 38 years of age, I guess he's licensed to have a couple aches and pains.
Oh, yeah, he is, and that was a great defense to come over and help right there. The young Tim Thomas saw he had Chris Mullen there, took him off the dribble, but needs to pull up and shoot that shot before he runs the defense over.
Perkins stays in the game.
Before he runs into the old Sam Perkins, who knows how to take a charge.
Yes, he does. That's right. Crozier against Thomas, doubled by Austin.
Illegal defense, 42.
And an illegal defense blown on Milwaukee. They take a look at George Karl, 6.5 years in Seattle. They did not give him a new contract, and then he was finally hired by the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, Senator Herb Kohl. And yes, he is a current senator.
You know, I like Indiana's bench. When they come to with Crozier and Travis Best, they create some different types of problems, but both guys are very capable offensive players and very aggressive.
Crozier flipping it out to Best. Played at Georgia Tech. A 24-second shot clock violation.
Well, I think Glenn Robinson did a great job that time on Crozier because Crozier tends to attack. Glenn was out and really had his hands up and did a good job defending it.
Indiana turns it over for the first time in 12 minutes. Under 9 to play now in the first half. Allen with 2 fouls. Off to Scott Williams, who's going to spark off the bench. Mullen taps it right to Allen. And a point-blank range miss for Ray Allen.
Good look right there. Good execution on the offensive end. They just got to start making some of those. They've had some good looks. They just haven't made.
Crozier to Mullen. Shot clock at 8. Travis Best, who's having his best season in the NBA. Rebound by Robinson.
Well, they've got to get out and get some breaks and get some easy baskets. Anytime you're not making it in your set offense, you got to defend, first of all, rebound the ball, and get out and get on the fast break if you're Milwaukee.
Robinson continues to stagger from the field, 1 of 8. He's missed everything outside, and he had to drive with the layup to get his only points tonight.
His shots haven't even been close yet. That ball barely hit rim.
And he's an all-star for the first time this year. Jalen Rose. Rebound by Thomas.
Even all-stars can have some bad games every now and then, but they really need him to step it up.
Ray Allen wiggling his way for room down low and falls hard on that bad left knee, which they say is about 90%, but still, it's in the back of his mind.
Well, you know, I think it's a little bit more than in the back of his mind because of the fact that he's been playing extremely hard here. I mean, he hasn't been concerned about it. He's been running up and down the floor. He's been getting on the boards. But you're going to hurt your knee if you come down and you go one-on-one against a set defense because of the weak side is going to be standing there. It's like cutting trees.
Perkins picked up the foul and goes into the shot of Ray Allen there and picks up his second foul. Perkins off the bench with 2. Dale Davis back in for Indiana. You can see what this triumvirate of Allen, Robinson, and Cassell, what they've done tonight.
And you know, that's just not going to cut it, you guys. They're taking most of the shots, and they're just not having any production tonight. But, you know, sometimes these in the playoff games, you get started. They're only 9 points back right now. 8 points if Ray Allen can knock this. So it's certainly, there's plenty of time for them to get a feel and get in a groove.
And they probably will. One of the things that George Karl said is that you won't like the way our offense looks, but we'll certainly take a lot of attempts. I don't mind the attempts, but you've got to give some of the other people some touches.
They're shooting 26%. That won't do it. 8-point lead by the Pacers, who have led by 13. Rose dancing on Williams. Chased by Allen. Swerving by Mullen. Driving into Rose. Flipping it high and over the head of Sam Cassell.
Good idea right there. Just a bad turnover. That's worse than the shot selection they've had right there. There's no reason to throw that ball away.
Well, maybe they've probably got to relax a little bit because they say the team is young. You know, you're in a playoff game. Everybody wants to solve the problem themselves as opposed to blending in everybody else and giving some touches and being a little bit more patient.
Rose, staggering out of bounds, called the timeout as he fell onto his own bench. 6:57 to play. We're in the first game of this first round between scoring as Karl Malone with a career-high 50 points yesterday. Shaq with 46 today, and on down the line, Iverson with 40 last night. The NBA has only played a total of 7 playoff games. Some incredible, John Thompson, early playoff performances.
Well, and that's when the cream comes to the top. You know, we can all talk about who's a star and who's not a star. In the playoffs, you find out the real stars.
Rick Smits is in. Chris Mullen hampered on his shot. Handcuffed inside is Davis in a foul. And that goes on Robinson. Indiana has missed 12 of their last 13 shots. They began the game over 50%. Second quarter, just 10%.
And they're falling into the same rut. They're not getting any movement on the offensive end like they did early in the game, and they're not getting anything in transition.
And probably that's the result of getting shots so easily as they got in the early part, Danny, as you said, that once you start getting shots that easy, you'll come down and then you'll forget about your offense and start doing the things that your opponent is doing.
Here's 31-year-old all-star, Dale Davis, all-star for the first time. Grew up in Georgia, played at Clemson. At that conference, UCC in rebounding. Just a minute ago, the three of us were talking about who the pressure in this series is on. And Danny, you said it's certainly not on Milwaukee.
No, they're number 8 seed. They barely squeaked into the playoffs. The playoffs were in Orlando last week just to get into the playoffs. They should be playing loose and easy.
Well, but if, on the other hand, if you have pride, you'll put pressure. If you want to win, you know, you get to a point where you're going to be a little tight about these playoffs.
Milwaukee hasn't scored from the field in 3 minutes. Thomas looking to squeeze a pass to Allen. Out of bounds it goes. 12 seconds to shoot. Mullen will take a breather as Reggie Miller re-enters the game.
I think they're standing around watching a lot of guys play one-on-one right now, Milwaukee's offense, and they need some better movements and penetrate kick the second time.
Glenn Robinson with another miss. Tapped in by Scott Williams, who continues to dazzle. He's got 6 points in 10 minutes.
He's one of those bring your lunch pail guys. They don't run any place for him. He's just getting some shots and getting some rebounds.
Jalen Rose with the miss. Rebound by Williams.
Well, Scott is doing it at both ends. I mean, he's defending as well as scoring.
Ray Allen again missing inside. Allen 1 of 7 from the field.
Boy, that's tough. I mean, they just need something to fall. These guys got to relax a little bit and get into this thing.
Rick Smits, as we mentioned before, he says he may retire at the end of this season. He's got 6.
I think he's still got some basketball left in him now that his feet are doing better. But is it a coincidence that they get their first transition basket when Mark Jackson gets back in the game?
Allen took it inside. Great defense by Indiana, and we've got a jump ball.
Right here you see Jackson. He gets Scott Williams. He knows he's got a mismatch, and Smits has to be open somewhere. Sam was there, but had no chance to defend the 7-4 Smits.
Jackson finished the season in the NBA 9th in NBA assists, and he holds the ball well, too. Number 3 in the assist turnover.
Well, one thing he does do is he gets other players involved in the offense, and that's extremely important. He's capable of scoring himself, but he gets the circulation going, and he gets other people touches.
And, John, this is when he shines, too.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, he's a big-time player. I mean, he comes at the right time, but that seems to be an attribute of age. You keep talking about everybody's age. He's 32, he's 36. Well, an attribute of age is winning in the playoffs.
And I asked Mark Jackson how many years he has left to play, and he said, I used to think not very many, but I know how to play, and these young guys don't. I think I got 4 or 5 good years left in me.
And he's absolutely correct, because now he's playing with his head as opposed to with his body.
Robinson misses the 3. Smits picked up the foul just before. Robinson is 1 of 10. Jackson to Rose over Cassell. Rebound reeled in by Dale Davis. He's led the Pacers in rebounding 6 of the last 7 years. He's got 9 in his pocket tonight. Approaching 5 to play here in the first half. Rose squirms free for Smits to Davis. Boy, one excruciating move after another for Indiana. Everywhere they turn, they face Milwaukee defense. Williams picks up his second foul.
Well, and the Bucks did a good job of trapping. They made 2 traps before that foul was committed, but they didn't get to a point where they rebounded. One of the things that Milwaukee has to do is that they have to rebound.
Well, Jalen Rose did a fantastic job of getting that ball out of that trap. He was very persistent and found Smits under the basket.
Here's Davis. Missing the first. With Antonio Davis gone, more has been thrust on Dale Davis, and thus he's coming off his best season as a pro.
Absolutely. And Dale Davis is getting more time. He's getting more touches, and they're relying on him a little bit more with the absence of Antonio.
Larry Bird was 3rd and final season as the head coach of the Indiana Pacers. He's been to the last 2 Eastern Conference Finals. Last year beaten by the New York Knicks in 6 games. Great twirling move by Glenn Robinson.
Well, and it's well needed. I mean, they've got to get some layups. You know, he peeled off on a cut, got through the whole Indiana defense, because obviously they were not moving because Milwaukee's not moving. It was just a great individual performance on his part.
Poor shooting by both teams. Indiana 32%, Milwaukee 28%. Dale Davis from outside. Here comes Cassell, thinking about 3. Threads it into Robinson, back to Cassell. Not a good 3-point shooter.
No, he usually was. Early in his career, he was a good 3-point shooter, but he's had a horrible year this year.
Well, and everybody's constantly driving without any movement whatsoever. The defense is going right into help.
10 turnovers on Milwaukee.
And right here, Glenn Robinson, this is exactly what they need. This is a great spin, move, and finish. And if he makes a couple of baskets like that or gets to the free throw line, maybe that jumper will start falling.
Smits is out. Crozier is in. Let's take a look at Glenn Robinson. Left early at Purdue under Gene Cady, and he is 1 of 3 #1 overall picks by the Milwaukee Bucks. Go back to Lou Alcindor, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in '69, Kent Benson in the mid-'70s, and Robinson back in the '90s. Inside alley-oop for Davis. On his pogo stick, fighting one after another to get it in.
Well, and you make your trap again, and then you give him 3 shots at the offensive board. They've got a rebound.
And Sam Cassell has his best assist tonight.
Well, and I loved how Big Dogs got up the court, sprinted to the low post, and they pushed the ball up the court that last time after a made basket.
3.5 to play. You just saw the points in the paint. Rick Conseco Fieldhouse in rainy Indianapolis. Reggie Miller with the miss outside. Miller, his lowest scoring average this year in 11 years. Allen inside with the drive. Rebound by Davis. He's got 10 rebounds for Indiana. Jackson streaking the other way. Davis plies his way inside. He's had a great second quarter. Milwaukee saves it. Cassell, no look. Johnson uncovered inside, yet misses the easy 2. Mark Jackson the other way. to Rose, thinking about three. Crozier will launch the three. Rebound by Johnson.
Well, and even though Indiana isn't shooting as well, this pace is a home court pace because it will get the fans involved and they'll get an opportunity to do more things to excite the crowd.
This is kind of Milwaukee's pace too, as Cassell hits one from outside.
Great shot by Sam and a much needed shot by Sam. You know, right now they're not where we're talking about the bad shooting of the Milwaukee players and some of the Indiana players. Crozier, Reggie Miller are struggling with their outside shooting as well.
20-second timeout. Your Pacers.
Sam Cassell, 5 points and 3 assists. He may be the key for Milwaukee in the first round against Indiana. For head coach George Karl and the Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana has not hit a three, and Reggie Miller hit the first shot of the game but has missed his last 6. And thus a 1 of 7 performance for the second leading scorer for the Indiana Pacers. Reggie Miller, first time in a decade he has not led this team in scoring. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Cheryl Miller from Conseco Fieldhouse, the gem of arenas in the NBA. Great feed by Jackson into Miller.
And it was a great screen by Crozier right there, freeing up Reggie, but that maybe get Reggie going. He's only made 2 baskets now, and they're both lay-ins.
Well, the smart thing about it is that when your shooter isn't going well, sometimes you run something for it to get him a layup to lift his confidence up.
Cassell to Robinson, who has struggled 3 of 12. Lost it inside, out of bounds, and off Milwaukee. Another turnover, number 11.
There's not very many point guards in basketball with their dribble alive can hit this guy on the run like that. Mark Jackson's one of the best passers in the half court. He threw the alley-oop to Dale Davis the time before, and a behind his back wraparound pass.
They're just 5 players in NBA history have over 8,000 assists, and Jackson's one of them. He has 8 assists tonight. Jackson looking inside. Another steal by Johnson. 3-on-2. Cassell and Derek McKee collide with a playoff feeling to that foul.
They had a
picks
foul
off his first.
And they had a foul to waste, too. Way to stop the fast break. That's a good play by Derek McKee.
14 fouls on the Pacers.
He's been injured most of his career with Indiana, but in fact playing with a torn tendon in his ankle for tonight and the rest of the playoffs. He'll get operated on this summer. Allen with Miller there. Through one screen and another. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Reggie kind of threw his elbow out of that screen, you know. Those big biceps and triceps right there. Sorry, Cheryl. We won't tease your big brother like that.
Foul was called on McKee, who quickly picks up his second. As you take a look at Glenn Robinson, an overall pick.
You see Reggie working really hard on defense right here, and he sees the screen coming and throws a little elbow and gives a little grimace. Yeah, a little chicken wing right there.
He is truly Indianapolis's signature athlete, is Reggie Miller. They booed him the day he was drafted here. They wanted Steve Alford from Indiana. I think they would, in hindsight.
That tells you how much the fans know about the draft.
Exactly, but they booed him on draft day. They wanted Indiana Hoosier Steve Alford. Here's Miller. From onside, Reggie has missed his last 7.
The only thing about Reggie missing, you always think it's going in, though.
They rotate from Thomas to Robinson and flips it over to Cassell. Nice hustling rebound by Allen. Under a minute to play in the first half. Both teams shooting horribly tonight.
Well, the first part of the possession, they had 5 quick passes, and they end up getting a good shot and an offensive rebound. Then they start right there, and they play one-on-one. Thank goodness Sam hit a tough shot.
Yeah, he's hitting a tough shot, but the same token, in playoff basketball, you're not going to beat people just with one-on-one, as you know. That's not going to happen.
Indiana gets their first 3-point shot tonight to fall. And Mark Jackson authors it and gives Indiana one of their biggest leads in the second quarter.
Well, Mark's having one of his best, or having definitely his best year shooting that 3. Just giving him another threat.
AT&T halftime is on deck with PJ Carlissimo, and welcome Charles Barkley to our studios with the Jet and EJ. Final seconds, Jackson. Tapping, put it down, Dale Davis. The Indiana Pacers finish with the flurries. Dale Davis controlling the second quarter. 8 points, 10 for the half. And the Indiana Pacers, the #1 seed in the East, lead at 45-34. Let's send it over to Cheryl Miller.
Well, Jalen, obviously in the first quarter, you guys get off to a great start, but the second quarter, both teams couldn't score.
Playoff basketball. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. The main thing is trying to win the game, and Milwaukee's not going to quit. We got to play 4 quarters.
Defensively, you did a great job on Milwaukee's big three. Any adjustments you make in the second half?
Just hope they keep missing. You know, they're a great three, like you said, and they're going to make shots eventually. Hopefully, we can find a way to have the lead when they do.
All right, good luck in the second half. Thanks a lot, Jalen. Let's go back to you, Kevin.
Can Milwaukee
54% contest in the first half, and they say whenever they've gotten 40, they always win.
Well, contest. I mean, in the
40, they always win.
Well, contest. I mean, in Indiana, there's no such thing as Indiana defense. They're not even, the Bucks aren't even letting them play defense. They're shooting the ball so fast and so poorly, they don't need defense.
All right, moments ago, our Cheryl Miller caught up with Milwaukee coach George Karl.
Well, Coach Karl, is that about as ugly a first half you've seen in the playoff game? It was a struggle.
Well, I think both teams came at each other pretty prepared defensively. We just got past the ball a little bit better and hopefully get some better shots. They're doing a great job defensively against us. We were within 6, and then they ran off 5 points in a row at the end. That hurt us. Jackson's 3. But yeah, we're still in the game. We played very poorly, and we're still in the basketball game.
All right, Cheryl. 45-34, Indiana, game 1, first round. Pacers swept Milwaukee in the playoffs a year ago. Milwaukee came in as one of the hotter teams in the NBA, having won 11 of their last 15 to close out the season. 3 consecutive wins. Indiana came to the postseason, having won 5 in a row. Poor shooting on the part of both. Davis finds Smith inside. Nice pass by Dale Davis.
Oh, that's perfect execution right there. They read the front. Davis flashed from the weak side. They don't really honor his outside shot. And a beautiful bounce pass for the easy dunk.
Ray Allen, Cassell, Robinson, Johnson, along with Darvin Ham, the 5 for the Milwaukee Bucks. Ray Allen got in early foul trouble. Now drives to begin the second half on Miller. Watches it go down for 2. Count it. And a foul, and Ray Allen's first field goal since early, about 20 seconds gone in the first quarter.
Well, but, you know, in looking at this, you know, Dale Davis makes the play by making a good pass right here to Smith. Smith goes up and gets an easy basket. But I still think that the Milwaukee defense was not active enough to give any form of weak side help. I think down at the other end, Ray Allen, even though he's not making baskets, I think it's significant that he's active, particularly coming off of an injury.
Davis set a screen for Rose. Smith gobbles up the ball outside Reggie Miller. Missing the 3. Davis fights inside for it. Battling 2 Bucks and a foul called on Darvin Ham.
Dale Davis is dominating the boards. And, you know, again, we talked about how poor of offensive rebounding team this team has been all year. Dale Davis knows what time it is. The great players step it up. And Dale Davis, a great rebounder.
And Darvin Ham pushed him every step of the way and looked at the referee as if the referee had no idea what he was doing.
And that is off Indiana. You can see the rebounding. The other end of the floor, Robinson saves it, hurdling his body out of play. Allen gets it. Folk hero in South Carolina, grew up and then played at UConn. Jim Calhoun. Glenn Robinson. Horrible night shooting. 3 of 13 from the field.
But what was good in that possession, a screen was made by a Milwaukee player and a pass was thrown, which was unusual. 2 different things.
Ray Allen has come out of the blocks hot now. He has 9 points, hitting 2 shots to begin the second half.
And right now, I think the key is Sam Cassell needs to show some leadership. He's the one with the experience and the ball. So he's done a good job of getting Ray Allen involved in the offense.
Out of bounds. Ray Allen using the screen well to get 2 away.
Well, and right here, you know, he doesn't get it the first time, and Sam, patient this time, directs him to the other side, gets a screen from Ham, a good screen right there, and gets some space for the open jumper.
Well, and that shows what can happen if they set screens, if they make passes, as opposed to always coming down and going one-on-one. It's not bad to go one-on-one because they have people who are capable of doing it, but you got to mix up what you're doing if you want to confuse the defense some.
Dale Davis at the free throw line. Larry Bird came into the playoffs. As you can see, he's had a nice night tonight. Not a very good free throw shooter. 2 of 5 from the line tonight. But Larry Bird came in saying that this latest stretch of Indiana Pacer basketball was the best they have played all season long.
You know, and it couldn't happen at a better time. They need to be playing their best basketball right now, because if you don't, you go home.
Sam Cassell. Rebound fought for and claimed by Darvin Ham.
You know, it's all right to come down and take a quick shot, but you've got to know, Danny, whether you're hitting or not. If you're not hitting, then you've got to get some motion, you've got to get some screens, and you've got to throw some passes.
Allen wiggling his way inside and slammed in by Ham. And they call a technical foul for hanging on the rim. A guy who at one time broke a backboard in an NCAA tournament game out of Texas Tech, undrafted, played overseas, and now with Milwaukee in a key cog in their machine.
A great penetration move right there. He draws all the defense. It takes 3 guys to stop Ray Allen, and it opens up Ham, but he hammed it up a little bit too much right there.
I like the way that looked. He should have at least, that might have been one of the better things they did tonight. They should have let it go.
Your Georgetown team beat his Texas Tech team one time.
Well, the game right after he broke the backboard, we played him, and we beat him. And we were kidding about it a little bit today, you know, in practice. But they certainly had a great team.
Ham has 3 rebounds, all on the offensive side, and all in this third quarter. Davis to Miller to Smits. He's as healthy, he says, as he's been in a long time. Rebound by Ham, and a foul called inside on Indiana. And Dale Davis picks up number 3.
His third personal.
That could be a big factor right here. One more foul, and Dale Davis is going to have to sit. And he's been huge for the boards for the Pacers in the first half.
Robinson triple team. Out of bounds. Just saw moments ago Indiana coach Larry Bird, who voluntarily will step down from that position at the end of the season. They do not have a successor. That's one of you guys is interested. I'm not getting a lot of feedback on that. It's not. Here's Ham.
We can give that to Charles Barkley right after he serves as governor. He can take over the Pacers head coach.
Smits had the rebound. Rick tonight has collected 3 boards and a foul called down low on Milwaukee, and it's on Sam Cassell. That's number 2. Both teams shooting below 35%. Indiana led by 13 in the first half. Milwaukee led early by 2. And there's an Indiana foul. A shove, and it's on Reggie Miller. He picks up his first.
And that's a new emphasis this year by the officials, to not let an offensive post player just throw a defensive player out of the way. Right here, Reggie's trying to post, Sam's trying to front. Reggie throws him out of the way. That's why I like the fronting defense.
Well, and he's not supposed to be able to impede his progress with an elbow coming across either.
Allen to Ham. Darvin Ham is suddenly woke up in this.
Well, at least he's
half.
giving the guy touches now, Kevin. And that's what I said earlier in the game. To give Ham and Johnson at least some touches. If a guy doesn't want to shoot, at least he wants to touch the ball in the ball game.
Miller with Allen right there. Cassell trails Jackson and Smits over Irvin Johnson. And that is a hard shot.
Well, right now, Milwaukee doesn't have any post-up game, so to speak, but they do have guys that can penetrate. And Ray Allen has created the last 2 baskets just by being persistent and penetrating.
Rose almost has the steal. Robinson swings it into Ham outside to Cassell. Jackson is right there. Shot clock down to 4. Robinson's got to create. Rose is in the way, and Rose will pick up the foul.
That's a terrible call right there. Big Dog hit Rose with the ball and pushed him out of the way, and they called him for a block.
3 called on Rose. 8:06 in the third.
I'd love to see Sam Cassell penetrate a little bit more and get some of the bigger people open, or penetrate and pitch it out, and then some of their shooters would have more space.
Robinson the miss after the screen by Johnson. Johnson at the other end defending Smits, and blocks the shot away, and 15 seconds to shoot. This is a guy whose game is defined by defense.
Well, one of the things he said to me at practice today, that if Smits caused him a problem, he would have to change, deny him sometimes, play behind him sometimes, and mix up, because he had a lot of respect for Smits' diversity in shooting. He can face, he can post, he can do a lot of things.
Jalen Rose. Shot clock at 6 for Rose, who knocks it in. Jalen Rose's dad was the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft in '67, has 14 points tonight.
That's his first basket since the first quarter. They need him to get going offensively.
Cassell across the lane. Picked up by Smits. 4th rebound for him. Jackson wants to create. And then drive. Knocked away and out of bounds and off Milwaukee with 17 on the clock.
You can see on that replay as Jackson's dribbling the ball up the court, how the lane opened for him because they're so concerned with Reggie Miller in transition threes that they're willing to give up the basket.
Good window dressing. Miller.
Well, that's the thing you knew early in the game. Even though Indiana was shooting poorly, they have too many people who are capable of shooting. If they're getting good looks at the basket, eventually these guys are going to put the ball in the basket.
Miller has 13. Allen to Cassell and outside Robinson. He's 3 of 15 shooting tonight. Milwaukee 32%. Cassell with Jackson there. Allen. Over Davis, it won't go. Darvin Ham vacuums it in, out to Cassell, to Allen, launching a 3. Good! Right between the eyes.
I like Allen's energy. I don't think that knee's bothering him at all. He's playing great defense on Reggie. He's creating off the dribble, knocks down a big shot right there. On the other side, Robinson's struggling, a little bit like Vince Carter's day today.
Well, Ham's doing a great job for the Bucks on the offensive boards. And even there, he stole the ball. He's a high energy level player.
Oh! With the right-handed sledgehammer at the other end in Milwaukee now, suddenly to within 6 points.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If a guy's hustling, getting loose balls like that, getting up and down on the floor, give him a touch periodically in your half-court offense.
Ham, 6 points, 6 rebounds in this quarter, authoring a resurgent Milwaukee team down 54-48 in the third. High school basketball. Darvin Ham wasn't drafted, and Scott Williams only played 7 games last year in the NBA, and they're playing now like their lives depended on it.
Right, and here's the energy. The steal set up by Ham. He gets in the open court and just explodes to the basket. And Irvin Johnson does a great job, like every coach teaches, to show out, extend the screen right there, stop Reggie Miller from getting the shot, coming off and make Reggie take a bad shot or give the ball up. And right here, Vinny Del Drago misses a shot, and Scott Williams hustling for the loose balls, getting the offensive boards, doing all the little things that you want all your players to do.
George Karl told us that Ham and Williams saved Milwaukee's season. A missed hook by Smits. But Darvin Ham has been a great story. 6 minutes, 6 rebounds, 6 points. Ray Allen from outside. He caught fire to begin things and kind of got the ball rolling for the Bucks.
Well, and that was a little unselfish. I thought Sam did give it up that time to hit him. They need to do that. If they do that more, they'll get better shots.
Jackson, a great low post player. Smits snaps it out to Miller. Driving on Ham, and a foul called on Darvin Ham.
And this gives me the impression, Danny, that he makes you pay the price if he fouls you. It's not a tic-tac foul. When he hits you, you know you've been hit.
Right, and that's a great play by Reggie right there. Team struggling offensively. He's one of the best of all time at figuring out when to get to the line. He's going for his 8th and 9th free throws right now, and that's kept him in the game, even though he hasn't been shooting the ball real well.
All-time leading scorer for the Indiana Pacers. And a player who, as Dick Harder said, and Dick Harder's seen about 43 years of basketball continuously, he has never seen anyone who could hit the big shot in his coaching career like Reggie Miller.
No, that's absolutely true. And not only that, the point that Danny makes, if he doesn't get the shot, he doesn't yo-yo up and throw up something crazy. He comes away with something, at least a foul.
That's because he didn't play with or coach Larry Bird.
Johnson trying to get that shot away. Jackson the other way, flips it inside with the razzle-dazzle, looking for Davis. 3-on-2, Cassell to Robinson. And a travel with great defense by Mark Jackson.
Oh, that's a bad execution on the fast break, though. You've got to finish in that transition play right there.
Well, maybe give the ball up a little bit earlier to cause the defense to shift, and then maybe it's a lot easier if you get it back.
Indiana needs something. You guys, I can't believe this is only an 8-point game right now, and they just seem to have no energy. Maybe Crozier or Travis Best off the bench could give them some life.
Jalen Rose, and a whistle away from the ball. Irvin Johnson picks up his second foul.
5 on Milwaukee.
Grew up in New Orleans and played at the University of New Orleans for Tim Floyd, the current coach of the Chicago Bulls. And then he was drafted by George Karl up in Seattle. And here's Rick Smits at the free throw line. And tonight, Smits with his first up and down. Crozier back in the game, Danny, as you want it.
Just a suggestion. You can't hear what I'm saying. No, he's an energizer, a lot like Milwaukee has, and Travis Best is another one.
John, whereas the Milwaukee bench tonight has been sensational, the Indiana bench has only gone 1 of 11 from the field.
Well, and the sensationalism in the Bucks bench has been the guys that you call the energizers, those guys that are hustling, and not the guys who usually offensively are taking the shots.
Ray Allen surveys, then goes one-on-one with Reggie Miller and knocks it down. Ray Allen, the first-time All-Star this year.
Well, and he got a lot of lift on that shot, so his leg definitely must be in pretty good shape.
Double team. Miller swings it over to Rose, intercepted by Ray Allen. One-on-one with Jackson to the rack. Allen for 2 again. He's had an incredible third quarter. 16 for the game, 12 in the third.
And it's all set up by defense. It was the defense of Indiana in the first half, and it's the defense right now. They're getting easy shots in transition.
Jackson to Smits. Johnson is there. Doubled by Cassell. Jackson for 3. Ray Allen again. Indiana has only hit 1 3 in 10 tries tonight. And Cassell, great feed. Ham is in there with another tomahawk.
That's terrible defense by Rick Smits right there. He jumped all the way out on the shooter coming off, who was pretty well defended, and gave up the easy dunk.
But at least they have to play defense now, just based on the fact that Milwaukee is moving more. And you can see that George Karl probably at halftime really chewed them out of running the offense and getting more movement.
No one has made and taken more three-point shots in the NBA than Reggie Miller. Missing there. Cassell swirls the other way for the Bucks, who have new life and a new feel. They won a game here at Conseco Arena earlier in the season. Ham is everywhere. Rejected by Smits, and a foul on Indiana.
Right here, Smits is supposed to extend the defense, but he turns his back completely on his defender. You can see Rose has the guy covered. Ham gets the easy bucket right in there. And Milwaukee doing a great job of rotating. Ray Allen, they're getting a lot of easy opportunities in transition as a result of their great defense.
Ray Allen
to Malone. 30 points. 5 on the 24. Malone will have to take the 3. And that's the kind of day it's been from Karl Malone.
There was a career high 50 points for Karl Malone, and they'll take on the Supersonics tomorrow night. Before that, it'll be the 76ers and the Charlotte Hornets, and this is the way the West looks after their first weekend of games. Lakers, Phoenix, a surprise over San Antonio. Portland with a season high for Scottie Pippen, and of course the great performance for Karl Malone. Here is former Indiana Pacer Darvin Ham. He was undrafted, went as a free agent to Denver, traded to Indiana, played here a half season, then went to the then Washington Bullets, played in Spain last year. And Danny, if he's outside 10 feet, he's not going to score. Inside 10, he's deadly.
Well, yeah, and they said they had 5 jump shots. I think those were only from about 6 feet.
Reggie Miller, who's never seen a 6-foot shot in his life, whacked by Glenn Robinson on the 3-point try.
Oh, and the thing about Ham, the key to the thing is to be sensible enough to know what your range is. You know, a lot of people take shots outside the lane who should be taking them in the lane. He's smart enough to know where his range is.
Hey, the guy's only 6'5". You know, they list him at 6'6" or 6'7". I don't even know, but I stood next to him, and he's no taller than I am. He's Charles Barkley's size.
Well, and one of the things that should have happened is Indiana hadn't picked up the fact that he's really hurting them on the offensive boards. He's getting a hand on a lot of balls. I mean, he's creating a lot of problems inside.
And he's a lot better looking than Barkley, too. Same haircut, but better looking.
And he's encouraging his team on the bench. 3 free throws for Reggie Miller because he was fouled making a shot attempt over the arc. and hits the back end there. 16 points for Miller. He averages 18 a game. 6 in this quarter. Vinny Del Negro checks in. It's a 4-point game. Ray Allen has had 12 in this quarter. Hand with 9. Irvin Johnson negated by Reggie Miller. Great defensive play.
Well, and at least you're looking at it now, Danny, and it appears that the Bucks are running their offense now. You know, even though that was a missed or a block shot, whatever you want to call it, they're now into an offense. So George Carl must have really gotten on it.
Nice defensive effort moments ago by Reggie Miller as the Bucks now will come the other way.
Well, this is a great flash by Irvin, but he can't get a block by a shooting guard right there. That's why they don't give him the more touches, Coach.
Well, they fouled him in 6 places. That's why they don't give him any more touches.
Both teams shooting 35% for the game.
Coach, you got to quit sticking up for the big guys.
Never in this lifetime.
Robinson trying to take it inside, and a foul called on the frustrated Jalen Rose. That's the 4th on Jalen Rose. That's got to be somewhat of a concern with just under 2 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. With Glenn Robinson at the free throw line.
Well, it could be a concern, but they have a lot of depth on that Indiana team.
Robinson playing in just his 4th NBA playoff game in his 6-year career. And you can see he has not shot all that well against Indiana in the regular season.
No, but George Carl would take any one of those games over this one tonight.
Yeah, 3 of 15, you're right.
Well, and I think they're doing a lot better now because they started to run the offense. I think it was a question of maybe relaxing a little bit. You get in the playoffs and everybody tries to solve the problem immediately by themselves.
38-year-old Sam Perkins trying to take it down low. Jackson. Derek McKee in the game, knocked away by Robinson. 4-on-2. Cassell. Robinson saves it, intercepted by Miller. Triggers it off to Jackson. A 4-on-2. Miller for 3.
Well, and that's a perfect example of what they talked about in stopping transition threes. George Carl was concerned about them making transition threes like that. However, Milwaukee went down with odd numbers and made bad decisions in the passing.
Sam Cassell answers at the other end.
That's a big shot. The crowd's getting going. Just like Coach said, those are the big shot. Gets the crowd rocking, and Sam just quiets the crowd.
Cassell with 9. Miller has 19. Here's Derek McKee, the ex-Seattle Supersonic. The 3rd-year player Crozier. Nice defense again by Irvin Johnson. And galloping the other way, and then his game broken by the bump by Crozier. Foul called on Crozier, number 3.
Well, right here, you see Reggie Miller just taking off. He's been bad turnover in transition right here, but they got numbers. There's only 2 guys back on defense, and there's 4 guys. They don't have a choice. Take away the dunk or take away the 3. They make the wrong choice.
Well, it's particularly the wrong choice when the other 3 guys don't come back.
Got the transition 3s, but none in that half-court set. They set it up and snap it out to Reggie or Jackson.
But then, interestingly enough, Milwaukee, after they got their offense moving a little bit, seems to be playing better defense now. They're getting their hands on balls, and as a result of it, may be able to get out.
Reggie Miller again over Del Negro. Johnson there with the rebound. He's got 7. Here comes Sam Cassell. He'll go one-on-one with Miller over Perkins. Good! Sam Cassell hits again. And we are tied at 62. A long comeback for the Bucks, who are down by 13 points in the first half.
A lot of long shots and a lot of turnovers by Indiana in this quarter. Got Milwaukee back in the game.
Final seconds of the 3rd, ticking off. Best over Johnson. Rebound by Johnson. Cassell holds it up, and they'll enjoy the moment. Great comeback with Ray Allen leading the way. 16 points for the game. And in that 3rd quarter, Ray Allen was spectacular with 12. And he quiets the capacity crowd. End of 3 with 8-seed Milwaukee in tonight's budget rent-a-car fast break. Points in the paint interesting, and bench points, John, very interesting.
Well, I think extremely interesting, but I'm gonna give the credit to the bench being George Carr, the Milwaukee Bucks, because I think he made them run their offense. They were probably too tight because it was the playoffs. In the first half, they were just shooting quickly. As a result of it, the Bucks started to play better defense.
Well, and the Bucks right now, they created 7 turnovers and got 10 points in that quarter, and 10 points off turnovers in 1 quarter is huge.
Milwaukee has outscored Indiana 14-4 last 4.5 minutes. Crozier trying to ride some rough terrain. Nice defense by the Bucks in there with Thomas, Cassell, Williams, Del Negro, and Ham. A small athletic lineup.
Well, a very small athletic lineup, but they are able to play better defense, as Danny indicated. And I love the way the referees are calling the game. They're not just calling little tic-tac fouls.
Cassell with the miss. The rebound by McKee out there with Best, Crozier, Miller, and Sam Perkins.
Well, Indiana has to find somebody that's going to give them some offense. They've been settling for all perimeter shots, and they haven't done a good job when they are doubled of finding the open man on the perimeter.
An elbow on Scott Williams, who picks up the foul for Milwaukee, and that is his 3rd of the game with a minute gone here in the 4th quarter. Milwaukee and Indiana split their 4 games this year. Indiana comes into the playoffs tied with the Los Angeles Lakers, as Larry Bird has orchestrated the best home court record in the league. 36-5 coming into tonight. Miller over Del Negro. Flying shot, which is corralled by Ham. A quick outlet on a 3-and-2 to Cassell. Del Negro into Miller. A runner, and the rebound by Williams. 16 to shoot. Tim Thomas cans one from outside.
Another transition basket, though. They push the ball off the court. They force the issue. They shoot an air ball, but they get the rebound and an easy opportunity.
Milwaukee's got their biggest lead tonight, and their first lead since a 2-0 advantage early in the game. Perkins hounded by the Bucks defensively. Miller thinking about 3, maneuvering for 2, and then off the Best. 1 second to shoot for Best. Shot clock violation. It never hit the rim.
Well, it never hit the rim, but I think Milwaukee should take heed to the fact that when they play sensibly offensively, it energizes their defense, ironically, because now everybody's challenging shots. They're switching. They're getting out on the break and getting easier shots. When they were playing terrible defense, they weren't doing anything at the offensive end either.
Milwaukee Bucks have not won a playoff game since May 1st, 1990. They lead Indiana by 3. Thomas inside, and he extends Milwaukee's biggest lead to 5.
It's amazing, you know, momentum is a beautiful thing.
Especially in the playoffs.
Well, especially in the playoffs, but they're helping one another. Screens are being set, passes are being thrown.
Crozier drives inside, a hard foul by Cassell. Crozier separated by Tim Thomas, and official Jack Neeson between the two. And some more shoving. Scott Williams from the outside.
Right there, Scott Williams is like the hockey rule, you know, 3rd man in. He just comes in and starts all sorts of controversy. That's the guy they got to tee up and get him out, not the 2 guys involved in the play.
A hard foul and a timeout. A well-taken timeout by Don Vaden to settle things down. Well done by the officials.
It's a great drive by Crozier. He's going in. Sam takes a good hard foul. Nothing wrong with that. Playoff basketball, baby.
Playoff basketball. He yoked the man. He grabbed the man by the neck.
We know the playoffs have arrived now. Williams and double technicals. 1 on Crozier, 1 on Cassell. He wasn't even looking at the fight, and he runs over there, John.
No, he runs over, and that's what causes it. Look at the referees calmed it all. He comes in. He's the one that should have got the technical because the referees had it under control until Scott Williams came back in and stuck his nose in
I'm telling you, they don't need a no-fight rule in the NBA. What they need is a no-breakup fight rule, because if you let the 2 guys go and get ready to fight, they're going to do nothing. The guys that are breaking it up cause the problem.
Milwaukee is now up to 38% shooting. They, in the first quarter, were right about 25%. Indiana has missed 9 of their last 10 shots. Rose over Williams. Big shot by Jalen Rose.
Well, Jalen hasn't scored a basket for 9.5 minutes, and he's got to get more involved in the offense. Right there, it looks like he's looking to pass for a steal. Early in the game, he was looking to score and came out as the aggressor.
Marvin Ham is back in. He resuscitated Milwaukee along with Allen in the third. Tim Thomas.
Well, see, and that was the thing that I was saying about Jalen. I want to see how he assumes a leadership role in a playoff game as opposed to how he does in the regular season.
Very good point. Best to Perkins. One-on-one across the lane into Williams. Davis is there to gobble it up.
Great tip in by Perkins right there. A second effort, but you got to give credit to Davis. He kept the ball alive.
The thing that the Bucks have to be careful of is they have to stay focused and continue to do what they were doing and running their offense, because that was the thing that saved them.
Sam Cassell, again, Sam Cassell comes up big for Milwaukee. 15 points, his first 2 in the fourth.
I tell you, this Milwaukee team seems to have relaxed a little bit more. I thought they had playoff jitters a little bit earlier in the ball game.
But really, John, they've been in the playoffs over the last month as Sam Perkins curls inside. Milwaukee had to play near perfect basketball in April just to get in the playoffs.
Well, right now they're starting to have some defensive breakdowns right there. They had the mismatch. They got Vinny Del Negro on Sam Perkins on the post. No double team ever came. They've been doing a good job. Breakdown on the execution.
Milwaukee played in a game like this last week in Orlando just to make the playoffs. Marvin Ham.
That's his long jump shot right there.
That's all right. I like this guy.
We're going to play jump ball with Williams going after it for Milwaukee and little Travis Best for Indiana.
Right here, great second effort by Dale Davis, keeping the ball alive. He's drawn all the big guys, defenders there, and then Sam Perkins comes over his back. It's the easy tip in.
Well, and that's one of the things that has to happen. I mean, these guys have raised the level of intensity in this ball game. I think we know we're in a playoff ball game now. The thing that Sam's got to be careful of is he's had success going one-on-one, but he's got to mix a little bit and still stick with blending in his other players some.
Tim Thomas, who should be a senior in college right now at Villanova, but left after his freshman year and out of bounds, and Reggie Miller picks up his second foul of the game.
This is the best Milwaukee offensive lineup they have, the guys they have out on the court right now. And Tim Thomas playing the power forward position. Ray Allen also had a great third quarter, been resting a long time. Look for him to get more involved in the offense.
Rick Smithson Jackson on the Indiana bench. A great twirling move to get free for the shot by Thomas. And out of bounds off Milwaukee.
See, and I like that same move, offer some movement, some touches, some screens, then isolate somebody and let them go one-on-one, and now you have a better chance of getting an offensive rebound.
Rose picked up by Robinson, threads it down to Perkins, jousting with Williams, the bump, and a rebound by Scott Williams. Invaluable tonight for Milwaukee.
Well, Ben, he's one of those energizer guys that you're talking about. I mean, he's played defense, he's gotten on the floor, he's set screens, and he's even mediated the fight.
Tim Thomas outside at 3 by Ray Allen. Great hustle by Williams off Milwaukee. Indiana the other way, but the hustle is incredible.
You gotta love this Milwaukee Buck team right now. Ham and Williams, these guys that don't play high school basketball, don't get drafted in the NBA, they're laying it on the line. You gotta love guys like that.
Well, and I throw Allen in there because he's used a lot of energy, even though
from the capacity-filled Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. It's the final game in the first weekend of the NBA playoffs, and we've got a battle in a game that, Danny, epitomizes the playoffs in its intensity and vigor.
Oh, this is fun. And Williams and Ham and Allen, all these guys are just playing crazy. Good, hard fouls, a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion. This is what the playoffs are all about.
Well, and they're playing the way their coach played. George Karl was the same way. The scorer was in trouble. The water cooler was in trouble. George dove all over the floor. Williams is playing the same way, and certainly Ham is, and Allen has been very energetic out there today.
In this game, a couple numbers have begun to drop. Three-point shooting and the bench points compared to season averages for both teams. Milwaukee leads by 1. They led earlier in this quarter by 7. They trailed by 13 in the first half.
Well, and I attribute a lot of that to what George Karl did at halftime. I certainly would have loved to have heard the microphone in that locker room because this team certainly came out playing differently in the second half.
Good point. A lot of adjustments. It paid off. Rose for three.
That's beautiful basketball right there. They knew the double team was coming. Instead of just settling, they anticipated the double team. They attacked it through penetration, got the wide open three.
Rose has 19 points to tie Reggie Miller, and a whistle. And a foul called on Travis Best, his second of the game for the Pacers.
Well, you know, in looking at this, Travis Best goes out and holds him up a little bit because Sam was getting ready to post him, and he tried to prevent it and got too aggressive.
He kicked it inside. Dale Davis. He has been incredible inside for Indiana.
Oh, rebounding, shot blocking, defense. He's even given them a little bit of offense tonight.
But I'll tell you what's got to happen. Sam Cassell's got to run this team now, Danny, because he's got to be smart.
Scott Williams left free to fire. Rebound for a 15th time by Dale Davis.
I'm not sure they needed Scott Williams shooting a 20-foot jump shot with that much time left on the shot clock. You got Ray Allen and Sam Cassell having good halves.
Okay, that just negates, though, one dive on the floor. He's been diving all over on the floor, so we allowed him one mistake, a 20-foot jumper.
Tell him to keep diving. Look at him, missed the jump shot. He's coming out of the game.
Tim Thomas will check in. Williams will check out. Cassell, Johnson, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, the 5 for the Milwaukee Bucks, coming in as the 8 seed, literally sneaking in under the wire to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, beating resurgent Orlando last Monday night to get in, and a timeout taken by the Milwaukee Bucks.
And that was great defense on the part of Milwaukee. I mean, it is just amazing to me how the intensity level has picked up in their defense after they start running their offense with some movement and getting some easy baskets.
And what they're doing defensively is they're switching everything.
Well, the Miami Heat yesterday, as the playoffs got underway in the Eastern Conference, with a win, and it was the play of Jamal Mashburn with a career high in the playoffs of 29 points. Grant Hill was a bit hobbled, and no Tim Hardaway. Sean Elliott led the Spurs in scoring yesterday, but they missed Tim Duncan and Penny Hardaway. And Danny Ainge's old team in Phoenix with the surprise 2-point win. And the performance by 30-something Karl Malone. 50 points, a playoff career high. Gary Payton, though, brings the guts of Seattle to that team tomorrow night at the Delta Center. Rose to Best. Shot clock at 6 after the 22nd timeout.
Big shot, kind of like the new guards coming in. Jalen Rose hits a big 3, and Travis Best hits a big shot.
Now Milwaukee has not hit a field goal in 3 minutes. Allen right there. Dale Davis with more incredible defense.
Well, that was great support on Davis's part because he came over and had to help on that one.
Oh, a big-time 3 by Jalen Rose. By 7 points, then Dale Davis and Indiana began to take over. He's done it inside with his 10 points and is gobbled up 16 rebounds and had 3 block shots tonight to offer some incredible inside presence for Indiana.
Oh, he's done a great job, and that last one might have looked like goaltending, but the ball was going to be short from my angle here. A good no call by the officials and a great play by Dale.
Jalen Rose has been standing up, John, to the scrutiny here, with Cassell taking it into Best, and a foul called on Travis Best of Indiana.
Well, in particular, Kevin, I wanted to see how Jalen would do in a playoff competition because they've given him the lead role on that team and taking the initiative to take shots and taking the initiative to make big situation plays. He's doing that in pressure. That's the real indication, in my opinion, of how a person is doing, is what they can do in playoff or big-time competition.
22 points, 8 points, Danny, in this fourth quarter for Jalen Rose of Indiana.
On the other side, Sam did a great job right there. I thought that was pretty darn good defense by Travis Best. I don't know what he could have done better, but Sam did his job. He's trying to stop the clock, get to the free throw line at this stage of the game.
76-71, Indiana on top by 5 with under 5 to play. Good run by the Pacers. Rose to Miller. By Thomas, back to Rose, who just hit a big three. Can he do it again?
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Coach, are there any questions about Jalen Rose under pressure?
None at all.
Rose just picked up his 5th foul of the game. Jalen Rose, who came in the same draft with Jason Kidd and Grant Hill. They were co-rookies of the year. This kid wallowed around in Denver, traded to Indiana, and Larry Bird has made him a player.
Well, I think Larry definitely deserves a lot of credit because he showed confidence in him and then Jalen really started to play.
When Robinson hits 2. Robinson's had a horrible night shooting, has 11 points, but a meager 4 of 17 from the field.
And I think Robinson and Jalen Rose have seen one another a few times in college competitively before, so they're accustomed to this.
The Big Ten matchup between Purdue and Michigan.
Ooh, that was a close call right there. Sam trying to get the 6th foul on Jalen, knowing how important it is. Good gamble, though. He had a foul to give.
Milwaukee shooting 35%, Indiana 38%. Indiana +1 in rebounding. Robinson, Johnson, all defending, and a 3rd foul called on Glenn Robinson.
It's amazing how those calls have a tendency to evening out down there.
Neither team has the foul to give. Rose inside. Rebound by Robinson. Triggers it out to Ray Allen. Driving on Miller. Colliding with Perkins. And a foul called on Sam Perkins of Indiana. He's got 2.
So you can see right here, he does a great job of pushing and gets by his man. Sam Perkins is definitely outside the dotted line. Don Vaden said he was inside the line. Another missed call. It's a crucial time of the game.
And you know what is significant about that? Ray Allen is a guy that just came off of an injury, but he's not playing timid. He didn't pull up to take a shot. He wasn't afraid to go and penetrate in there after coming out of an injury. A lot of times a guy treats an injury very gingerly, but that showed a lot of courage on that young man's part.
Just the 2nd point in the 4th quarter for Ray Allen. He's got 18 for the game, but got the Bucks rolling as they came back out of halftime. Had a great 3rd quarter. Travis Best, the Perkins screen, the jump shot over Thomas. The rebound inside. Dale Davis and a foul on Milwaukee.
Dale Davis is just killing them in there.
Rebounds, 17 of them.
And a lot of offensive. That's at least 8 or 9 offensive to this stage as well. Great job. Just good body position, good anticipation, and he's just out muscling Irvin Johnson down there.
Heart and soul of the team, in the words of Indiana coach Larry Bird. Davis from the line tonight, 3 of 7. Danny, Larry does not show a lot of emotion on the sideline, does he?
No, they need to keep Crozier right where he's at. He's having a tough game out there, and Dale Davis is dominating this game in the paint.
Indiana extends their lead over Milwaukee, 81-75. Sam Cassell has played well, 17 points, a lot in the 2nd half, in particular in the 4th quarter. Tim Thomas sneaking his way with a shot with a foul called on Davis of Indiana. He's got 4.
Well, and it was a good move. It was the same as Danny described earlier with Cassell. At least he came up with something. In the 1st quarter, they were throwing up that stuff and wasn't coming up with anything. But now, at least they're penetrating. If they don't have the shot, they're hunting for a foul so that they'll come up with something.
Tim Thomas, who will be a free agent after this season. We mentioned before that he would be a senior at Villanova had he stayed, but he left after his freshman year. He has belonged to 3 teams in 3 years, traded twice in a very short span. And up now with big free throws and 3:18 to play in the game.
Well, he seemed to have found a home because George Karl certainly did speak highly of him yesterday when we had our meeting.
Thomas with 11 points and 6 in the fourth quarter.
It would be devastating for Milwaukee to lose him this summer in free agency. They need him bad.
Rose and Robinson. Pounded by Johnson. Perkins gobbles it up. Shot clock at 8. Miller for 3. And fought for Cassell and Davis on the floor. Here comes Thomas. Great pass by Cassell. 3-on-1. As Allen goes flying inside. Chopped down by Travis Best.
Well, and that's another example. Ray is not afraid to penetrate and put himself in a situation where he could injure his leg again.
This is great effort by Sam Cassell. Dale Davis battling it, but Sam just out-muscles the big guy right there and gets the ball for a 3-on-1 break. Allen could have had anybody on the wings, but takes it in there and gets the better foul and 1.
Ray Allen 5 of 5 from the free throw line tonight. He is the 5th leading free throw shooter in the NBA's regular season. 21 points tonight for Allen. 2-point game. Best down the lane. They rotate from Rose to Miller, who exploits Cassell, who falls down, and the Pacers by 4.
That's just one of those 30-something guys you were talking about, Kevin.
Ray Allen for 3. Oh, what a shot!
Big shot right there by Ray Allen. Crowd's going crazy. They needed it at that time of the game. Not really a high percentage shot coming off the screen for 3, but he knocks it down.
Ray Allen has 24 points, 8 in the fourth quarter. Rose has been his counter across the lane into 2. Perkins tries to tap it up. Gets the loose ball, a fresh 24-second shot clock, and then throws it away with the defense employed by Irvin Johnson.
Well, and I know the crowd doesn't like this, but I think these officials are consistent. Their game is a physical ball game, and it's an intense ball game, but they are consistent so you can make an adaptation to how to play the game.
I disagree right there. I think Jalen Rose got just as fouled just as much as Tim Thomas and Sam Cassell got fouled down here, but I like them being aggressive.
Oh, a little tic-tac, a little tic-tac. Let them play.
The 8th seed Milwaukee Bucks trail the top seed Indiana Pacers by 1. Comeback by the 8th seed Milwaukee Bucks. They trail top seed Indiana by 1. 3-point shooting has made the second half for Indiana, and Milwaukee is a bad perimeter defensive team.
Well, the reason they're a bad perimeter defensive team, first of all, Sam Cassell and Big Dog are not great defenders, but they also do a lot of trapping and leaving them open, and that's how Jalen Rose has gotten his shots on the half-court traps of the post.
There you see the leading scorers tonight. Rose, who won the regular season duel with Reggie Miller, as the Pacers' leading scorer. Leading tonight. And here comes Sam Cassell with 17 points, working on Best. Robinson to Thomas with Davis there. Little isolation. Inside for the tie, rejected by Davis.
Thomas was there, Danny. Thomas should have taken that shot. I just think it was too close, and then he's throwing it to a non-shooter in Johnson. He should have made an attempt to shoot that ball.
Now that's a consistent call by the officials to let those fouls go, but another great defensive play by Dale Davis.
Travis Best with a big shot, and Indiana extends their lead to 3, 85-82. Indiana had missed 6 of their last 7 shots. Allen, the drive. Another 1-point game.
That guy is great. I'm telling you right now, he hasn't hit his outside shots as well tonight, but this second half, he's been phenomenal. He can get by Reggie and get in the seams on this defense almost any time he wants.
Well, he's not afraid to take his shots. I've been watching the playoff. A lot of guys who shoot during the regular season are afraid to take shots in pressure situations in the playoffs. But Ray is not afraid to do that.
Shot clock at 5. Best hits another one.
Talking about not being afraid.
take care of Conseco Fieldhouse. And then Turner will have the broadcast on Saturday night at Milwaukee in Game 3. Here, 47 seconds to play in regulation. Indiana leads it 87-84. And Ray Allen has been hot, and they need him to continue to play that way. And there's the reset with the timeout Story. No fouls to give.
Well, right here, they got to try to get a 2-for-1 situation, get a shot between the 34 to 36 second mark. If they miss, they don't have to get into a foul mode. But Ray Allen is the guy. Try to penetrate. They don't need a 3 right now. If it's there, fine. But try to penetrate and get to the free throw line or get the easy basket inside.
Thomas Robinson, Allen, Williams, and Cassell out there from Milwaukee. Miller guards Allen. The foul down below, and it's on Best, who is shadowing Cassell underneath the basket.
Another good acting job by Sam right here. He's trying to come off the screen. Scotty Williams is the guy holding him up, and Sam just flops. Easiest way to get to the free throw line. Guys are going to the basket, getting hammered, and the guy's coming across the screen without the ball, and he gets to go to the free throw line. Makes no sense.
Well, and particularly off of the ball. You don't want to. You want to make them earn that.
Best picks up his 5th foul. Let's send it over to Cheryl Miller.
Well, coming out that last timeout, Coach Call's game plan was very, very simple. He said, guys, next 42 seconds, what we're going to try to do is score, and the scoring is definitely going to come from Allen or Cassell. Come down, defend, score again, game over. We go up 1-0.
Cassell again. 18 points, 6 of 8 from the line. 2-point game. Indiana leads it.
They're going to double team. They're going to try to get the ball to Jalen. See if they can draw the double team and attack it with Reggie or Best from there.
Rose.
I like Reggie.
And here's Miller. 3 to shoot. The defender falls. Miller can't hit from outside. Perkins out of bounds off Milwaukee with 18 seconds to play. An exhausted Sam Cassell.
Now Glenn Robinson's giving himself up here. He's showing that he can play some good defense, denying Jalen the ball all over. He knows if he gets it, he's going to have a tough time defending him. Keeps the ball out of his hands. Hammers him in the arm right there. Gets away with it. No call. Sam Perkins saves him with an offensive rebound. I believe that's what they've been doing on the out-of-bounds plays. Indiana wants to get the ball in Reggie Miller's hand or any of the free throw shooters' hands. Dale Davis is the only guy out there that Larry Bird does not want on the free throw line in this situation.
Well, and if the ball's thrown in the corner, too, Milwaukee may look to make a quick trap because they've got to do something at this point.
Here comes Davis. He's got a timeout, and it was taken by Indiana. Milwaukee also had a delay of game to give.
That's a dangerous play to have Dale Davis. I mean, he's really not a playmaker taking the ball out of bounds.
Why do it then?
Because they're probably afraid of him getting fouled, but Danny is absolutely correct. The worst thing is if they throw it in the that's exactly right. If you throw it in bounds and throw it away, he doesn't have to be fouled.
Earlier today in the NBA first-round playoff action, Sprewell with a 21-point performance. Vince Carter at one time was like 0 of 12 from the field and then began to hit his subsequent shots in the second half. Garnett had the triple-double, but Scottie Pippen had the season high, and Portland beats Minnesota. And Shaq, his normal dominating self, 46 points, a playoff career high, and the same can be said of Chris Webber. Lakers will play Thursday night on TNT on Thursday night. And all this and more on the Inside the NBA presented by Hyundai. Charles Barkley, PJ Carlissimo, Ernie Johnson, and Kenny the Jet in studio. A busy day in the NBA playoffs. They'll give you the most concise picture after this one. 18 seconds to play. Indiana has the ball, and they lead Milwaukee 87-85.
No, I don't understand this. They're trying to make a substitution with Mark Jackson in for Dale Davis. Why does Dale Davis have to stay in? That wasn't a 20-second timeout. That was a full timeout.
Sure enough, Davis is in there.
Well, there's 6 guys. Mark is leaving.
Nobody wanted. Davis was sitting on the bench, and Jack Neese came over and said they couldn't make a substitution.
Right, but the one thing they don't want to do is inbound the ball to Dale Davis. See, and Robinson should leave him open.
Foul called on Rose as he was working on the side and fouled on the play by Sam Cassell. Two get tangled up. That's the 4th on Cassell. So Rose draws it out of the Milwaukee defense. He'll be at the free throw line with 16.8 seconds to play.
You know, that was an example where Big Dog played Davis just a little too aggressively. Let him get the ball, but not in a position where he can score. Then you can create the foul on him.
Rose, an outstanding free throw shooter.
Why did you have to say that? It never fails.
I think the reason that they didn't put Dale Davis, or they couldn't make a substitution, is if it's a second timeout, consecutive timeouts in a row, you can't sub. When there's under a minute left in the game.
Tell you what, this is a big free throw.
And he nails it. Indiana leads by 3. 16 seconds to play. What's the man?
Danny wants the intentional foul right there.
Conseco Fieldhouse, downtown Indianapolis. Sam Cassell and Milwaukee with their work cut out for them. 16 seconds to play. Milwaukee trails by 3. Here's the three-point shooting tonight for the Bucks as a team, 4 of 7.
Well, and Danny wants an intentional foul right here. He and I got the discussion about it. I want him to switch on everything, stay out, and deny the three-point shot.
Del Negro will inbound. Allen, Cassell, Thomas, and Robinson out there for Milwaukee.
They got the best free throw shooting team Indiana does. You want to foul and make it a free throw shooting contest.
And a timeout taken by the veteran Del Negro.
Especially now, they're out of timeouts.
And Milwaukee cannot make a substitution because no time has come off the clock. On back-to-back timeouts.
Well, there was nobody open right there. They were switching all screens, denying the ball inbounds. Vinny had nowhere to throw the ball inbounds right there. There's plenty of time for them to get a quick 2 right here, but they have no timeout, so they can't advance the ball. I still like no three-point shots no matter what, even at the expense of an intentional foul right here.
I like the no three-point shots, but I don't like the intentional foul. I like switching on everything, staying out, and don't let them get the three-point shot.
What if it gets down to around 8 seconds or 7
I still like that.
I've seen a lot of games lost, Coach, on bank shot, hook shots like Tim Hardaway threw in the other night.
Say hopes and prayers.
Delay a game. And Indiana had one to give, and they used it well.
They've got to be alert and switch and get out on everybody.
Del Negro
is, you got to watch Del Negro too. Make a switch. Everybody's out on everybody. Don't mind him making a 2 at this point.
And he tries for 2 and misses. Rebound by Rose, and he loses it out of bounds. Indiana has a timeout. 4.7 seconds to play. Milwaukee is out of timeouts.
Okay, the thing about it is, Coach, he almost got a shot and could have been called a foul right there.
Almost doesn't count. Larry Bird feels the same way I did. He didn't intentionally foul.
They better right now.
Travis Best.
Yes, they do.
Travis Best whacked in the face. He'll leave the floor.
Right here, Travis contests the shot. At this point, you almost got to let him go because you can't give him a three-point. Good play by Allen. Almost got a three-point play right there.
He almost got a three-point play the old way.
Mark Jackson will come in for Travis Best, who is injured. And the 5 for Milwaukee does not change. It's Thomas trying to tie. Rebound, Indiana wins.
Thomas should not have been open.
Final 88-84. 45. Indiana wins game 1. Let's send it over to Cheryl Miller.
Well, Jalen, you started out great. 12 points in the first quarter. Cooled off. Didn't make another basket until late into the third quarter. But timing is everything. Because down the stretch, you nailed 3 3-pointers when it counted.
Yes, it is. You got to play 4 quarters. You can't really get discouraged when things ain't going your way during the game. You got to continue to play, and as long as we win, I'm happy.
Both teams really struggled, but down the stretch, both teams really great defensive effort.
Well, Dale Davis was key for us. I mean, he was rebounding the ball. He's blocking shots. I mean, without Dale, we wouldn't be anywhere, and this game belongs to him.
Well, certainly you had a huge impact. 17 boards, 10 points. It just seemed like you came out on a mission. Larry Bird said all along the key was